Hello friends, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons for another by request song tutorial. As requested by one of my patrons, Paulette, this lesson goes out to you. I'm breaking down how to play Sarah Jarosz's Grammy Award-winning song, House of Mercy. Now that's a song that she plays on the octave mandolin, but she does have a lead guitar player. So what I've done is create an arrangement for solo performance on the acoustic guitar by combining those two parts. I got my tab and chord sheet for you at patreon.com/swiftlessons. You can support the channel there for just $1 a month and gain access to a ton of extra resources. Now let's get started with a full demonstration for you to jam along with later, then I'll break it down for you step by step. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
In the middle of the night again, still water and the birds don't sing. Cold gin in the back room humming, medicating for the trouble that's coming. Walls rattle like a diesel freighter, blood races like a wave. This house wasn't meant for strangers, but you come knocking anyway. I can hear you knocking on the door. I won't leave it open for you anymore. I can hear you knocking on the door, knocking on the door of the house of mercy. Don't try to change my mind. That knock gets louder all the time. Don't try to wear me down. You'll never get inside this head. Underneath that shirt you're wearing, strained muscles and a heart of stone. Double crossing like a wild chameleon, you make me wanna be alone. I can hear you knocking on the door. I won't leave it open for you anymore. I can hear you knocking on the door, knocking on the door of the house of mercy. Don't try to change my mind. That knock gets louder all the time. Don't try to wear me down. You'll never get inside this head. I can hear you knocking on the door. I won't leave it open for you anymore. I can hear you knocking on the door, knocking on the door of the house of mercy.
Okay, close look at the fretboard and also my pick in hand, getting started with section 1 of this lesson, the tuning. In order to be able to play a solo performance version of this song on acoustic guitar, we'll need to tune both of our E strings, low E and high E, down to D. So then we have E, A, D, G, B, and D again. Okay, now that you're all tuned up, we're ready to jump into the intro section. Here we're going to be implementing a lot of the same techniques that we're going to find in the verse section. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Now very slow. Let's break that down. Okay, breaking that up measure by measure. We're going to get started with the chord D5. Just take a regular D major chord and remove the middle finger from the high E string. Alright, now the string is open, it's got that very robust sound. The first measure is going to sound like this. Bass down, down up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so nothing on that third beat. Alright, next measure we're going to play D/C. Just take your middle finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're going to play basically the same thing, but add a strum in between the 3rd and 4th beat. Alright, so that time we finished it with up, down, up. Bass down, up, down, up. You put those two measures together, we have. Then we're going to repeat that first measure again over D5. Then we're going to finish it up. It's the last measure of this line. Very cool little riff there. So that was that C note on the 3rd fret A string, strum through. Then we're going to play open A string, upstroke on the chord, 3rd fret of the low E string, a little bend, and then we're going to play the open string. Okay, putting that whole intro together, we have. Alright, now one little variation that you can throw in, like I did in my demonstration on that last little riff there, is you could throw in an upstroke after that first strum. Okay, now that's not what I'm hearing in the regular track, but it is something that I kind of instinctively started to do when I was demonstrating the song. Okay, great work everybody. You have the intro section down. Now we need to apply those techniques to the verse. It's basically going to be the exact same thing, though sometimes I might simplify a little bit as I'm singing through the verse. So at a very slow tempo, I'm going to play through verse 1 and allow you to play and sing along. 1, 2, 3, 4, and...
In the middle of the night again, still water and the birds don't sing. Cold gin in the back room humming, medicating in the trouble that's coming.
Alright, if you're able to do that, you're ready to jump into the instrumental break. Okay, great work everybody. You have the intro, the verse, now we're jumping into the instrumental break. This part is going to sound like this, really cool. Okay, let's break that down. Okay, so that began with the open D string, then going to the 3rd fret F, up a whole step to G, where we're going to slide up a whole step to the 7th fret, and then back down to 5. Alright, next we're going to have back to the 3rd fret, open D string, open A string, and then stop right there, hold out the C note on the 3rd fret of the A string. That's exactly what the guitar player is playing, but if you're playing it by yourself, it might sound a little sparse, which is why I tend to throw in a little bit of open strums just to fill in the space. Something along those lines, and it can sound a little dissonant, especially in this type of tune. Okay, so that's the first lick that he plays. Next, he's going to basically play the same exact thing, but instead of sliding, he's going to bend the string. So the next line is going to sound like this. Okay, such a cool lick. So 0-3 again, 5th fret of the D string, bending up to 7 and returning back to 5. 3rd fret, open D, open A, and then just like we did before, going to the C note, 3rd fret A, but now we're going to play the open D string. Okay, put all that together, we have. Then we're going to follow that up with a nice short little lick that we can play in two different ways. On the track, I believe I was hearing. All right, really cool sound. So such an old school blues lick there. So 2nd fret pulling off to 0 on the A string, the low E string 3rd fret, bend in, then we're gonna play the open string. Now I believe in my demonstration I played the 3rd fret instead, which sounds great as well. Not too much difference, okay? All right, so you put all that together, we have just like that. Okay, tremendous work everybody. You have the intro, the verse, and the instrumental break complete. After the instrumental break, we'd have verse number 2. It's played the exact same way as verse number 1. And from there, we get into the bridge section. This is played almost the exact same way as well, but I simplify it. So we're gonna have that D5 chord starting us off. It's gonna sound like this. I can hear you knocking on the door. I won't leave it open for you anymore. So that was the first line in that bridge. And I just simplified it a little bit, especially that last riff there on measure 4. So the D5 was the same. D/C, back to D5, then we're just going to play D/C, D/F by taking the middle finger up to the low E string 3rd fret. Alright, just like that, and that's an F note because we're tuned down to D. So you put that full line together, following along using the chord sheet. Just like that. All right, then the second line of the bridge, it's gonna be more of the same. The D5, the D/C, the D5. All right, then we're just gonna play D/C, D/B. Taking my index finger and putting it on the 2nd fret of the A string. So changing the roots up gives it a really cool vibe, kind of traveling through that scale. Okay, now that D/B is going to usher in a quick little pre-chorus riff, if you're following along again on that chord sheet at patreon.com/swiftlessons. This part's going to sound like this. One more time real slow. Okay, breaking down the pre-chorus riff. I'm going to demonstrate it straight through and go into the chorus. That way you can see how it fits. It's going to look and sound like this.
Don't try to change my mind.
Alright, to get into the chorus. So, very basic. You're going to treat the D5 chord like we always have. Hitting the low root, strumming through, and then hitting down up on the 4 end. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go to the D/C like we did before, and we're going to play root strum, and then do 2 pull-offs on the D string 3rd fret. Okay, so we're pulling off to the open string from that 3rd fret D string. If you can hit some of the other strings as you're holding down that D5 shape, give it a little bit more of a robust feel. That'll sound great as we get to a chord that we're calling G5 to start our chorus. Okay, moving right along, now we're jumping into the chorus section. I'm going to demonstrate it for you, then I'll break it down for you. Starting from that pre-chorus riff, real slow.
Don't try to change my mind. That knock gets louder all the time.
Alright, that was the first line, then we're going to get back to the G5.
Try to wear me down. You'll never get inside this head.
To finish it up back on that G. Okay, line number 1. We started off with the G5 chord, strumming it nice and long, then getting into some swinging eighth note strums.
Don't try to change my mind.
Bring it down a whole step, and bring it back to the G5. So that's a chord that we're calling F6, add 9, and then up to G5. We can just call this F though. So F to G. One more time.
Don't try to change my mind. That knock gets louder all the...
Alright, now it's time for a walk down. D5. Root down, down up, D/C. Find the second fret of the A string, D/B. Alright. Then we're going to play A7 sus4. Index finger goes down to the D string second fret, but the root note that we're going to strike first is the open A string. You put all that together, we have.
Don't try to change my mind. That knock gets louder all the time.
Up, down, down, up, down, up, root, down, up, down, up, root, down, up, down, up. Alright, then it repeats, G5.
To wear me down. F, G. Never get inside this.
Alright, then walk it again.
How?
Keep on walking. Skip the A7 sus4 and instead just go right to the G5. Alright, and I like to let that ring out so that way I have time to get to the next section, which I'm calling the instrumental break variation. Okay, up next, section 8. We're jumping into a part that I'm calling the instrumental break variation. Now this is going to be very similar to what we played earlier when we went, but now we're going to do it in more of a chordal kind of form, as a means to imitate the sound of that riff being played by that octave mandolin. Getting started with the slow demonstration, then I'll break it down for you. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so I'm going to be holding down the third fret of the B string the whole time as I play this melody. First, I'm going to show it to you on just single strings, then I'll show it to you with the extra kind of harmony added by holding down a little bit of that D5 chord. So, I hammer on to the D string third fret, then I'm going to go to the open G string, second fret G string, pull off to the open G string again. Alright, then after that, I'm going to go to the D string third fret, open D string, open A string, and then the third fret of the A string, as if I'm holding down that D/C chord. From there, I'll strum the strings just to fill in the space. Okay, so far you have down, down, up, down, up. Repeat the riff again. Alright, then I'm going to play the D and G string open, and then do that riff again, but this time with my middle finger. 3 pulling off to 0. Then I'm going to play 3 on the low E string, bend, and the low string open. Alright, you put all that together, we have. Now, I want you to try to strum a little bit of that B string third fret, and also some of the open strings as you go. Okay, you won't play it the same way every single time, but as long as you're getting a little bit of that harmony of the open G and the B string in on some of those strums, it's gonna sound a little bit fatter. Okay, congrats everybody. You've basically learned everything that you need to learn to be able to perform. You've learned the intro, the verse, the instrumental break, the bridge, the pre-chorus riff, the chorus, the instrumental break variation. The only other thing that you might want to look at is how they conduct themselves on the final chorus. They change it up just a little bit. So it's all the same on the first line, the G5.
Don't try to change my mind. That knock gets louder all
The walk down. But then on the second line they change it up. Instead of going back to G5, they play B flat bar chord. Okay, that's going to be a bar on the first fret, and then you need to hold down the D, G, and B string. I'm going to do that with just one finger, my ring finger.
Don't try to wear me down.
Bring it up a whole step to C.
You'll never get inside this.
Then we're going to do the exact same walk down that we did at the end of the first chorus. Alright, then you'll get into the bridge to finish up the tune. After that, they have a lot of jamming in the live versions, which is just going to be more of the same stuff, going from that D to that D/C that you're seeing in the verse. Tons and tons of cool tricks that are played by both musicians. I tried to cover as much of it as I could in this lesson just to get you performance ready. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on House of Mercy. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll check out more from Sarah Jarosz. She's an amazing artist. I want to thank my patrons for making these lessons possible. I hope you're enjoying all your extra resources. I've got many more lessons coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.